And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Leo. Welcome to Coinplace Tarot. My name is Coy, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a side quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and running, so message me directly or email me. Link is on main, okay? And we can set that up. So I switched up the styles, and again, my apologies. It's been a while since I've made a video set. A lot has been going on in my life personally, but also things going on as our world is changing. So in knowing that, I have replaced the first and last readings, which I would normally try to position at the beginning of months, with what I would like to call as things change. Instead of having the aces on top and the tens on the bottom, representing beginnings, endings, and energy switches in between, we're going to look at the fives. And the fives are oftentimes, if you saw the Learn With Me series, the fives represent conflicts oftentimes, or the necessity of what gets us from point A to point B in terms of change. So as things change, how will we handle that differently? And I'm going to be doing it for every single sign. So thank goodness, Leo, you're first in this rendition. So yeah, instead of a first and last, just like before, water, earth, fire, and air, going through all the respective elements, we're going to look at, as things change, what do the cards have to say to you? So as a preamble to the read, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, even if it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to purposefully misguide you or mislead you. Understand, I have the entire zodiac sign to do, the entire zodiac collective to do. Trying to mislead anybody is a waste of my time, and therefore it would be a waste of yours. We lay all our cards on the table, and good or bad, come rain or sunshine, we talk about it, because tarot at the end of the day is a conversation, just an energetic one, right? So follow along with me in your As Things Change read today. I'm going to get used to that title, the As Things Change read today, Leo. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here with your Five of Cups. In terms of processing emotional baggage, sorrow, or what we're encountering. Ooh, interesting. That tried to fly out, but if you've ever seen one of my videos before, you know that I don't do it unless it hits the table. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, upon the Five of Cups for Leo in this read. I'll get it one more. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. So, upon your Five of Cups, Leo. Nine of Cups. Okay. Why? Why are we trying to handle that in such a delicate manner? Okay, the Ten of Pentacles. And what goes along with that? The Eight of Swords. Okay. So, remember, five is the cards of conflict. Eight, the cups, particularly the Five of Cups, deals with sorrow, pain, and regret. It's the pain that stays, right? Having all these cards representing the Nine of Cups, how do I best approach or present my most honest self? And that Ten of Pentacles, Leo, alongside the Eight of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles representing the things we want to build, the foundations in our lives, here represented by a cabin in the woods, built brick by brick. And the Eight of Swords, oftentimes representing powerlessness or not knowing what to do. My question for you is, how do we engage with the sorrow of relationships that didn't pan out, right? That Nine of Cups, that Ten of Pentacles, yeah, I'm talking to somebody who there's something that we felt probably should have gone differently. Again, that Eight of Swords saying we're too powerless to change anything. But what happens if that separation, that no matter how much I put into this, it did not pan out? What happens if that was the right thing, right? I'm not going to automatically assume that everything that comes to us is meant to stay forever. It's just meant to stay in the time frame that it's meant to be here. So if we're saying all of this coming underneath the Five of Cups, are we longing for the continuation of something that we already said we lost grip over, we lost control over, but instead of blaming ourselves, we recognize the situation for what it is. It's better for us to stay away from that. Something I want you to look at, okay? Next to the Five of Pentacles, what about the feelings of being left out or left behind? Or raw materiality, impoverishment, or looking at the things that we think that we lack. Show us the cards we need to see, please, upon the Five of Pentacles in this read. The Leo Collective. Nice, but it didn't hit the table, so I cannot take. What are the cards we need to see, please, in this ATC read? That's a break under my way of breaking. Those cards we need to see, please, for this ATC as things change read for Leo. Nice. To the Five of Pentacles. Okay, good. I'm already liking this. Temperance, the card Sagittarius. How so? Two of Swords. Yeah, it's not obvious immediately, but that tends to be how these things go. And the Knight of Swords, right? So, in terms of the idea of feeling left out or left behind, even more so if you're going through a state of material poverty right now, Leo, especially if it's in regards to whatever relational dynamic you felt just couldn't work out, even though you wanted a much longer stay with it. Understand temperance is allowing time to not simply heal all, but carve different paths for us, right? It may not feel like things are changing. I do understand that because, again, temperance, time. How does time temper the soul? And so the Two of Swords, confusion, well, what do? I take action. The Knight of Swords. Whereas once I said I put my best self out there and it still didn't work out, the only thing I can do right now, in spite of everything I feel like I'm losing or have lost or have been locked out from, I go live. That Knight of Swords is very intentional that, yeah, I may not have the answers right in front of me, and eventually they're going to pan out with that temperance, with that Two of Swords, but I got to go live again. I got to go see what it means to be happy again, be around other people again. And if this has left me behind, okay, what's next? To the Five of Wands. What about external conflict? How do we address this in a productive manner? Show us the cards we need to see, please. To the energy of fire, the Five of Wands. For Leo in their As Things Change read. Those cards we need to see, please, upon this ATC for Leo. Okay. Interesting, because these are kind of diametrically opposed energies in a way, given the context, but hey, let's go with it. Four of Swords. Why do we take issue with... Well, I mean, yeah. Ten of Cups. Harmony and synchronicity with where we are, and the Five of Cups. Okay, yeah. What are we willing to get comfortable with? I'm looking at somebody who is at a crossroads right now emotionally. I say this because you have a 5 or 10 of the same element. 5, again, being cards of conflict, and 10 being ultimatums. And these are combative narratives because of the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords represents rest and relaxation or a moment of reprieve. We're taking it in one of two directions, Leo, and we're trying to tell ourselves, hey, this is how I'm going to act is going to become my story. If we relax too much, and this is what we're trying to take issue with, the Four of Swords and that Five of Cups, well, then maybe I just got to accept that it is as sucktastic as it could be right now. And yeah, that's just a narrative, right? I don't want to say it's a defeatist undertone, but it's just the resignation that, yeah, I can't change this. Here's where we are and here's where we're going. Or the Four of Swords and the Ten of Cups. Things are better than I once imagined it. Yeah, it's not perfect. And I'm willing to engage in the notion of things not being perfect if it spells out a different tomorrow for me. That Ten of Cups allows us to see the beauty in everything around us, not just the pain, because the pain's going to be there. It was there in your opening, the moment of rejection and how could my life's investment get pulled out from under me. But there's also, hey, let me try to take a new perspective and say what is going right for me right now. I like that. Last, to the Five of Swords, what about internal conflict and self-sabotage? Show us cards we need to see, please, upon the Five of Swords for Leo in the lead today. In the last element of air, what's the internal battle? Three of Wands. Okay, let me draw some more because that's a very interesting idea that we take beef with possibility in the future. Nine of Pentacles. Okay, yeah. And the Six of Swords. Okay, I totally understand that, Leo. Let me stop before we flip that over. Five of Swords represents the war within, right? The internal conflicts that we face and the things that we feel doesn't add up, or am I doing this right? You know, that when self-doubt and basically beating ourselves up over things that we can't control starts kicking in for real, that's when the Five of Swords starts poking out. I see next to that the Three of Wands, represented by the expectations of the horizon, right? What is good for me or is building up towards me in the future. The Nine of Pentacles, which represents the autonomy of the self, the keys to our own garden, and basically empowerment of what we can produce, what we can provide for ourselves. And the Six of Swords, eventually moving on. We're asking ourselves, if this is how it goes, why doesn't it feel like I'm moving, right? The thing I want you to challenge yourself around is that it doesn't feel like you're moving because you're trying to hold on to something that you can't control, right? So accountability where accountability is due, that Five of Swords, no, it feels like you're in the motion, like you're driving the car, and yeah, you feel that your body's staying still because you're in the vehicle. It doesn't change the fact that the vehicle is already driven 200 miles, right? You are in motion right now, but you're not recognizing it because you're too busy looking in the rearview mirror, right? We can't move forward and look back. And so, or at least have our gaze fixed to that while we have the entire road in front of us. So we are in motion right now. Do recognize with this shift of attitude and the conflicts you're willing to engage with, Leo, you're getting to a much better space. Now it's time to exhibit it and breathe like you're already there. Underneath it all, Justice, the card of Libra. And so, with things playing out as they are right now, we will reach a state of equity. Whatever problem that we feel like we lost absolute control over, even no matter how much we gave our best, yeah, we'll come to some better conclusions, even if today is not that day. I get it. Do not let all the doom, gloom, and despair, and this is why, again, I'm doing the ATC, As Things Change type of read, because we established the conflicts from the get-go. Boom, we're going to make it nice and quick. It's not the easiest read, but we talk about some tough things because we want to get to better conclusions, right? It'll all balance out eventually. Not right now, but understand once you give yourself the credit that you need to move forward, you'll start to notice your feet have already been stomping along. Next, instead of using this as connected cards, we're going to use these as soul definers. And for each card, for each five, show us cards that we need to see for Leo, please. One defining card under each five. Under each conflict, what do we have to say? Those cards we need to see, please, for Leo in this read. Underneath your Five of Cups. Okay. Good. Temperance comes out again. So, yeah. What we once invested ourselves into, and we're not giving ourselves a break over it. We're still questioning, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? maybe you did things right and it still didn't play out because it wasn't designed for you to be that way. Again, temperance here, and then temperance showing up right next to it in the element to its right. What I'm seeing, Leo, is that, hey, yeah, it didn't pan out, but maybe this wasn't the right bond for it to pan out with, whether that be the career or the relationship. No, you were in the right space to create and cultivate so much more. But whether the environment not be right, the deal partnership might not be right, or the person might not be right, doesn't mean you didn't put in your best and most valid effort. To that Five of Pentacles, Six of Swords, we're moving on, right? If we have no better answer, then keep rowing. We're going to get somewhere eventually. To the Five of Wands, Ace of Wands. Okay, and when we get our spirit back, when we pick ourselves up and say, dust ourselves off, we can keep going, what then becomes our next story, our next newest truth? And to the Five of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. While it does feel uncomfortable right now because we feel like we can't do anything quote unquote right, eventually we'll start to notice, actually, I didn't give myself enough credit. I was doing all the things that indicate that I was moving on. I just wasn't in a space to accept it, right? The heart versus the head. Underneath it all, Two of Wands. Okay. Intentionality. How do we push things forward? We live in that moment and let it happen. Last, show us some definitions before we get to resolution. And for Leo in their ATC read, show us the cards that we need to see, please, for the Leo collective. Define the major arcana strewn across the table before we move towards resolution. We will first look at Temperance, the card of Sagittarius, in the above row. Why does a healed soul, altered energies, and by extension altered paths, define the Five of Pentacles of where we see ourselves right now? Show us the cards we need to see, please, for Leo and this read. Knight of Cups. And so it's not that you weren't giving the best of yourself. Maybe it wasn't the right bond or environment for it to flourish in. Doesn't mean you didn't do it right. You did something. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that level of investment or feeling, Leo. Never forget that. To Temperance, Five of Wands. And so what conflict we're originally establishing over here in your get-go, we're saying, no, if I look at it objectively, I can break it apart. I may not like the conclusions I'm coming to, but I will get my answer piece by piece, one at a time. Okay, I don't see any others. So in resolution, Death, card Scorpio. Some cycles must come to an end. And so for us to get to the next stage, which death is not just simply a cycle's end, it's transformation. Tarot does not conceptualize time the same way that people do. The death of this cycle, the death of, I can't blame myself for this anymore, I gotta go live. The death of, you know what, instead of me taking it out of myself, how can I look at it as positive? It'll transform everything else around you once you're able to accept that you're already in motion. King of Cups. The holder, the bearer of water. Here, all things analyzed and all things put into perspective. Once I bring my emotionally best self and decide what I can invest into, I did it right, even if it hurt. And give yourself the time to come to that conclusion, Leo, but also understand you're getting there, 1 bit at a time. Underneath it all, Two of Wands. Again, intent, and then the balance of the scales. Sometimes it can only happen through motion. What do we see in your read today, Leo? I'll try to make it simple. I'll try to make it blunt. An investment that we once had that we thought we were giving our best towards, that, you know, this can all work out, came crashing down. And we originally blamed ourselves hard for it until it just became too miserable. And we had to accept the fact that, no, there's more life to go live beyond this. Just because it or we or this deal or contract fell apart doesn't mean I wasn't doing the right thing. And I'm eventually going to get my groove back. I just got to remind myself who I am so I can look at the positives or the negatives of it. Doesn't change the fact that the glass is has half the amount of a full cup of water in it. But how am I going to look at it? Am I going to look at the good things happening around me or only focus on the pain? And therefore, my self-sabotage comes from not recognizing that I'm actually cultivating a very good life for myself. And I put my best foot forward. Now, how do I put the other foot forward in front of that one and start stepping? And the underneath, hey, we only get there if we try. So as one cycle comes to an end with all the intentionality and things starts balancing out, we put it to rest and say, I did my best. Sometimes it is that simple. That's all I got on your read today, Leo. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, new style of reading, but also new set of challenges in front of you. Once you can give yourself credit, you can give yourself hope. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.